What's up, YouTube? We got a yo-yo review to do today. This is the Toybania and Yo-Yo Empire thing. So, the thing is a all machined plastic yo-yo with metal hubs, like most plastic yo-yos. See, hubs, metal. Anyway, but it comes responsive. The cool thing about this is it's up for pre-order right now on Toybania, so you're gonna want to check out the links down in the description. In addition to just the responsive version, they're also having made right now inserts that will go in, and it will take a full-size bearing. So you can put the inserts in to increase some rim weight and put in a full-size bearing and get a unresponsive yo-yo as well, an unresponsive slimline. So let's talk about that a little bit. So this thing's pretty light. I'd say this comes in right around 62 grams, and the production model is going to be about this. This is pretty much where the production is going to be. As you can see, it's kind of a nice butterfly shape, but with nice high walls for stalls and what have you. And it's just nice and light. I really like this. I like the sort of blasted, tumbled finish as well. Really good for like your not fixed axle, but your responsive grinds and what have you. And I mean, it is really good. They did a really nice job over at Toybania designing this yo-yo, because I think as far as a responsive machined plastic yo-yo goes, this is awesome. And it's about 45 bucks. The pre-order's up right now. So definitely, if you like plastic, if you just like responsive yo-yos, if you like the deep state, if you liked any of that stuff, you're going to want to check this out, and you're probably going to want to pre-order it, because for 45 bucks, I mean, you can't go wrong. That's basically the price range that all the rest of them are in, and it's really, really good. So I have been really excited about it. So let's talk a little bit about it beforehand. As you can see, it's more or less a full-size yo-yo, just slim to be responsive. Here it is next to the Too Sick and Passant, another plastic yo-yo. And as you can see, pretty similar diameter. Not as wide, kind of slimlined, but if you put a wider bearing in, it'll be a little bit wider. I think they really kind of did it right by putting the addition of like clip-in, like you could put in like Duncan weight rings in here, but you'll get weight rings with it, but you could put like the Duncan weight rings in it to add weight, and instead of it just being heavy and then sticking the bearing in, there's two pieces to it. You can add rim weight and put the bearing in to make it play unresponsive, but I really like it as a responsive, and that's how I would play a yo-yo like this, is just responsive. So that's probably enough of me yapping around about it. Let's go throw it around a little bit. I'll show you guys what this thing can do. Alright guys, we are back with the thing. This is I guess it's a collaboration sort of between Toybania and Yo-Yo Empire, but it's basically a Yo-Yo Empire machined responsive yo-yo. Responsive plastic yo-yo. As you can see, out of the box, and I didn't lube this or anything, the bearing is unlubed enough that it's responsive, but unresponsive enough that you can kind of just get those like Buddha's Revenge tricks going. So it's not super snaggy, and you can slide it along the string. You could do your like cold fusion. I ran out of spin time. But you can also do your like split the atoms pretty easily. Like there's no snagging at all. But it's still pretty responsive. It's pretty reliably responsive. Not responsive enough to like loop with, per se, but if you lubed it up a little bit, it definitely would be. And I'll show you that when we take it apart. Pretty smooth yo-yo. Very smooth, actually. Nobody really does it any better than Yo-Yo Empire. They really know what they're doing when it comes to like machined plastic yo-yos. Theirs are by far the best. Absolutely. The finish on this is nice for like tape measures. nice and like very grindable finish. So nice for tape measures and stuff like that. And just a nice response, good size gap. The slim bearing is nice, but if you put a wide bearing in, it could be unresponsive, and if you put weight rings in it, you can play a little bit of slim line, unresponsive as well, which is very cool. I like this a lot. I would say the response out of the box is maybe a little bit more reliable than the deep state response was out of the box, but still, like, once you get it going, it's basically, it kind of can play, at least the way the response is out of the box, kind of like the deep state. So not like crazy responsive, but pretty solidly responsive. So very reliably responsive, good for all your responsive tricks. High enough wall, catch your stalls pretty easy, so your stalls aren't falling out of there. So nice for that. And still a good enough weight that like you get some pretty decent spin times out of it as well. It's not super heavy, it's not super light, so it kind of sits right in that sweet spot for me of responsiveness, which I really like. So solid design overall, and for 45 bucks. I mean, this is, I don't know if there, what other, this is probably the best responsive that's going to come out this year. I don't even know if it'll come out this year. This may end up actually being a 2019 release because there's only the pre-order available right now. But if you like responsive yo-yos, you're going to want to pre-order this thing. But let's go ahead, we'll stick this on the desk, we'll take it apart, and we'll do pros and cons. Alright guys, we are back on the desk with the thing available at Toybania. Alright, let's take this thing apart. Get it? This thing. Let's take this thing apart. Comes apart nicely. As you can see, not a whole lot going on, but a very well thought out design for a responsive yo-yo, in my opinion. White pads are okay. The gap's not too big, so it's responsive enough. I'd say if Yo-Yo Empire has any flaws, it's really that I don't like their white pads. But in this yo-yo, it's fine. They're not too slippy. The weight of the yo-yo is good, so no issues there, really. In this yo-yo, I think the white pads are fine. I'll leave them in there. Plus, it looks good with the black and white. It's just classy. Very classy looking. So, if you guys will notice here, it's kind of nicely rounded over, very butterfly-esque, and then it sort of flattens out right before the response. Yeah, flattens out right before the response. And that's really good, because that's where you catch your stall. So I really think that was a nice design element. It's very subtle, but it's very functional all at the same time. So I really like that. Really nice, like, sort of tumbled, machined plastic. Not sure if this is specifically Delrin or if it's palm. Just palm. Because Delrin is a kind of palm. I don't know. Somebody always corrects me when I call something Delrin or palm or whatever. They're like, well, it's actually this kind of plastic. And it's plastic. It's machined plastic. Goes back together beautifully. I mean, the hubs are designed perfectly. They're really nice. They don't feel like they're going anywhere. You can kind of tighten it up. No slippage. Nothing like that. Really, really, just a well-made, well-designed yo-yo. So let's do pros and cons. Pros. 45 bucks for probably the best responsive yo-yo this year. I would say it hangs absolutely with the Deep State and the Alley Cat 500 XL, 500 LB, 500 pounds, 50 pounds. I can't remember what that one's called, but the other Alley Cat, the new one. Absolutely hangs with those. Very nice. I like the bearing comes sort of not super lubed out of the box, so it's not terribly responsive out of the box, but if you want it to be more responsive, you just got to add some more lube and it'll be more responsive, and I like that. That's really a nice, it's just nice to do. I feel like you can always go more responsive with a slim bearing, but it's really hard to go, not really hard, but it's more of a pain to go less responsive because you have to clean the bearing and what have you. So I think the way that it comes is just really nice. It adds that extra attention to detail, and Vivek and I talked about this beforehand. This was done on purpose, and I think that it was done really well. So I think that was a good call on their part. I love the finish on this. It's just so soft, and it's almost like blasted, but it's not blasted. It's like tumbled, but it's just good. Great for your tape measures, and if you do want to do unresponsive, it'll be great for grinds as well. Just a nice feeling yo-yo. It feels good. Nice and soft and just smooth, and it feels good in your hand. I love the black. I think it comes in white too. Just looks good, man. I mean, this just looks cool. I've been playing with this for like 2-3 days. It's been in my pocket, like everywhere. It's been at work. It's been around the house. Just really good. Highly recommend this. Check the links down in the description. As far as cons are concerned, I really can't think of any. You might, just because, and this isn't a con of this yo-yo, this is just a con, I guess, of responsive yo-yos, is that you're going to have to set it up the way that you want it to be set up. Again, that's not a con when you have a responsive yo-yo. If you're like, well, I wish it was a little more responsive, you got to lube it up. And the nice thing about responsive yo-yos and lubing them is if you don't have thick lube, you can just use Vaseline or chapstick or 3-in-1 oil or anything that's like sort of like a high viscosity type of lubricant. I don't recommend ever using anything that's like organic, so don't use like olive oil or anything like that, because olive oil eventually will go rancid, and with a plastic yo-yo, if the olive oil goes rancid in the bearing, you're gonna have a yo-yo that smells like garbage, and you don't want a yo-yo that smells like garbage because it'll seep in. It'll be bad. So don't use that. Use the synthetic ones, 3-in-1 oil, Vaseline, stuff like that. That will get you as responsive as you want it to be. If you want it more responsive than it comes, and it'll just really work out well for you in the long run. But this is the thing. You can pre-order this at Toybania right now. I suggest doing so if you're a fan at all of responsive yo-yos. There's a link down in the description. So go ahead and do that if you are a responsive yo-yo dude. And if you're not a responsive yo-yo dude, you should maybe get into that and try it out anyway, because it's a good price at only $45. But go ahead, check that out. Link down in the description. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Please make sure you like and subscribe. Cheers to you. I'll see you next time.